Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P. Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more. The latest show goes after hours. The Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas brings out more for our Lucas Nation fans. Tune in for reviews, topics, and even special guests. We go beyond the swankiness as it's juicy as hell with our DJ Lou Pezzi, playing nothing but the hits on the Spotify podcast version. Live from our studio of Swanky Studios, it's the Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas on Atlanta's #1 stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio station. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
You are now tuned in to Atlanta's hottest radio show.
Our stories from our studio to your ear. It's the Beyond Swanky podcast.
With your host, Kennedy Lucas. On Swanky 93.3 radio station. The Heat 94.6 radio station.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. This is the Beyond Swanky podcast with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We've got T, he's here. Monica, she's here. Addison, she's here. Of course, James is over there. We're all here for After Hours, ladies and gentlemen, the Beyond Swanky podcast with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. This is, we are in our season 2, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. The new intro, James. You did it again, man. If y'all don't know, the newest jingles and intros that we added to the station, we premiered that on Saturday. Sunday. It was Sunday. And then yesterday we did our podcast, K.L.P. Aftermath Season 5, and you guys heard a lot from our jingles. So now we've got it also for SNN and the Beyond Swanky podcast here today. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, I'm excited for another exciting podcast, but I was in the car and I was getting ready to come to the studio to perform tonight and give y'all a great show, because I'm still going to give y'all a great show. But I just got to get in my feelings a little bit, just a little bit. T. It's been, I don't know, today's been kind of off. It's been kind of off. Yesterday, we're recording Monday night, but you guys are going to hear this on Tuesday, but we got here in the studio, and I don't know, today has been a very off-putting day. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the case of the Mondays. I had two awkward conversations today, whether one being personal and another one being kind of funny but kind of professional as well. I hate days like today. Not saying I hate the day, because today, amongst everything else, it was good, T. I was so ready to come in the studio, because typically when I come in the studio and we turn on our phantom power and our mics and our headphone test and mic test and sound test, I get excited because I know that we're getting ready to do a great show. And I always get excited when we come on the podcast and we get ready for the podcast. And I get so stoked, right? I'm stoked about it because we have some things we got to talk about. But when I'm not in the studio, if I'm in the offices or if I'm out and about and I have an off-putting day, I don't know, it just kind of messes up my whole mood, right? It messes up my whole mood. So, I don't know, it was weird. Like I say, I'm just going to sleep on it tonight and just forget about it, laugh about it tomorrow, being today. But yeah, Monday, it was interesting. February 27th by the time I don't know. I've had two awkward conversations. One conversation I had to have personally, and it was very crucial. It was not a great conversation, but sometimes those conversations have to be had. And then I had another conversation. Again, it was professional, but it was just silly. It was just like, really, is this what we're really talking about? Those days put me off in my mood, and I hate that. I really do hate that. Because if you guys don't know, T and Monica especially, I'm a very positive person. I became super positive back in 2021. 2021 is where I kind of regained my faithfulness. If you guys don't know, I got reconnected with God, first of all. I became reconnected and I became more faithful in 2021 because I'm always going to say 2020 was my worst year, right? Our business was still sort of thriving and we were doing good business wise, but the anxiety, the PTSD, the depression, that does set in after a while. It does. And I've had that before, right? I had it in 2010. I had it in 2015 and 16. I had a little bit of it in 2019. Wasn't as bad, but I had in 2019. Obviously, everybody had in 2020 because of COVID. And ever since then, I came to the solution to always try to think positive, whether it's business and personal. Always be faithful, be grateful, and think positive, right? Good karma goes around a long way. Bad karma goes along there too. So I don't know. I hate it when my days with awkward conversations that I don't want to have, and it's conversations that's left unresolved, right? I hate those type of conversations where there's might be some malice or some hatred, some anger. The first conversation, I was leaving, going to the office, and I missed my turn twice, right? Because I was just driving angry, right? It's very off-putting. Very, very off-putting. So, like I say, for all of this is PSA to a lot of people. Try, if you're having crucial conversations and it's off-putting a little bit, try to stay focused, meditate, and stay positive. That's something I did today. And as the day went on, it was, staying positive. We've got the latest episode of SNN. Beatrice and Arthur did their thing today. K.L.P. Aftermath, season 5. We were in the studio today, but yesterday. So it was great during the day. And then I had to have another awkward conversation. And I'm like, this is not the day I want to have with these weird, awkward ass conversations. So very off-putting, but I'm gonna move forward from this. I like to just be open, right? I know we got things to talk about, and we're hyping up the show because I'm excited, but it's just sometimes I get in my feelings and I like to express my feelings a little bit. So anyway, back on track, Beyond Swanky Podcast, Season 2 with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Cannot wait for this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. March 4th, Ebony Nason Liggins is going to be in the studio, and we're going to be talking about GDN, our journey in GDN, our GDN alumni-ness, and our GGC alumni-ness this Saturday, March 4th, in the studio. Cannot wait to have her in the studio, mic'd up, and we're going to talk about some really fun, interesting things. I'm so stoked. I'm happy about it, and it's coming right up, guys. It's going to be a GDN alumni special. It's going to be a special podcast. You guys don't want to miss it on this Saturday, March 4th, by the way. So, speaking of some good news, I am very excited that this team have won their season opener. If you guys don't know, we are headquarters right here in Atlanta, Georgia. So again, Atlanta United Soccer Club has been doing some amazing things, and they won their season opener game match this past, I want to say, Saturday. Shout out to my friend David, because I remember when we went to K.P, he was telling me that him and his brother were going to the season opener game over there in Mercedes-Benz, and I saw the news today that they won their season opener match. Very, very exciting for Atlanta United. I'm rooting for, because I like soccer. I love soccer, but I'm rooting for Atlanta United because there's just so much that goes on to that team. I know 2 GGC alumni. They probably don't remember me, but they were soccer players for GGC Soccer, and they played for the Atlanta United Football Club. So I cannot stress how important that is. I have a lot of people, a lot of friends, GGC friends, GDN friends, even friends from high school. They really enjoy soccer and they enjoy the Atlanta United team. So I get very excited for that. I'm so stoked. I am very happy that this team have won their season opener. I cannot wait to see what they do with their season this season. Is this the season to be jolly when it comes to soccer? So again, congratulations to Atlanta United. Of course, moving on to our next segment here on the podcast. Y'all know we got to talk about it, T. Did y'all see Last of Us episode 7 last night? Sunday night? I sure as hell did. So, of course, if you guys don't know, I like to do episode reviews. Now, currently we're reviewing The Last of Us each episode, and then we're doing Bel Air season 2. So, okay. Because I got to unpack this show. Let me just tell you how good this show is, T. It's so good, right? I know episode 6 has been trending because we talked about it in the last episode, but it's been trending because in one video clip, you can see the film crew on the camera on shot and the editors missed it. I get it, right? I get excited when I see film stuff, right? Let me tell you one film that I've been watching, and I'm not trying to get off track, but this is kind of the same thing because I went through, if you guys don't know, and we're talking about The Last of Us, but this is kind of relating to film crew and film people because I get so excited when I see film people, right? On Instagram, I follow a lot of film makers, a lot of film producers. They chimed in on this too. Like, they laughed about the film crew being in the actual episode that they shouldn't see. A lot of filmmakers clowned them for it, but it's all in good fun because the episode was still great. This show is still great. But it gets me excited to see other filmmakers kind of critique that episode and they laugh. And I'm in this group, this forum, it's on Facebook. And I have quite a few forums on LinkedIn too, where they talk about each episode as well. And then they were talking about episode 6 and like, how did the director, how did the producers, how did the editors miss this? I get very, very excited to understand the film style of it. I'll tell you, T, one thing I've been watching, because you guys know we're filming my first ever new horror film this summer, 1943. I cannot wait to start production. And after that Last of Us, I started to watch a little bit of The Godfather, right? Because The Godfather is kind of the movie that I'm studying from, right? Because I want 1943 to kick off with a good start. So I get excited. I don't know. I get very, very excited to talk about movies and directors and producers and filmmakers and their projects that they got going on. They critiqued episode 6 of The Last of Us and how the film crew was on set. Pertaining to this topic, this is why this show is so good, right? Because you get the show. I really love it when they do the behind the scenes inside the episode. I love that shit with a passion. I do. I get so high when I see that stuff because to see the film people, to see the directors explaining their processing within this. Let me tell you, episode 7, we get to introduce, now Storm Reed is a fantastic actress. She's been in a lot of great things. Currently, she's been in Euphoria. Right, she plays Rue's sister. She got a new movie with Nia Long that's getting ready to come out, like a thriller kind of movie. I forget the name of the thriller that she's in, but she's playing the daughter of Nia Long in that movie. So she's been busy, right? But in episode 7, we get to see her play Riley, Ellie's love interest, Ellie's best friend. They turned couple. Let me tell you, Storm Reed and Bella Ramsey, their chemistry is just so there. It's so there, right? This was a great casting for her. Very, very good casting. I know she's probably going to be just in this episode, right? Because she does turn into an infested. She does die, right? But this episode, their chemistry between the two actresses, this is it, right? Now, it feels good that in this episode that we see Joel, right? But we really get to understand the backstory with Ellie and Riley, right? We saw it happened in the game. So of course they're going to mimic things from the game into the series, right? We knew this was coming, but they changed some things, right? They're in a mall that we can relate to. There's a Victoria's Secret. We saw Subway. We saw Gap. We saw all these different types of stores and restaurants in the modern world that we can see today versus the scenes in the video game where they're also in a mall, but they have to kind of name brand some of the stores because of licensing reasons, right? So we get a backstory. Ellie is in this what we call boot camp to become soldiers, right? She misses Riley. Riley sneaks in, tries to pull a prank on her, tries to like stop her breathing just to do a joke, and then they get to fighting a little bit. But then Riley wants to surprise Ellie a surprise, right? We all know in the video game she wanted to take Ellie to the mall to show her a good time because Riley joins up with the flowers fireflies, right, with Marlene. So it was kind of a secret. She gave Ellie this pawn book as a gift, and at the end of it she was going to say to Ellie, hey, I'm leaving, I'm joining the fireflies, right? They're on opposite ends. The fireflies and the soldiers, they're on opposite ends. The fireflies are kind of the rebellion group that tries to kill the soldiers. Soldiers are kind of government, right, where they're kind of being forced to be soldiers to fight off the infested. So it's a whole bunch of trade war that goes around with that. I really like this episode, T, because you really get to see how Ellie acts. Bella Ramsey, right? I first of all, I'm so proud of Bella Ramsey because I think she's from Scotland. She sounds Scottish. And to see that she's playing Ellie really well, she sounds just like Ellie, sounds just like Ashley Johnson's. We mentioned that so much before. So I get so excited to see Bella Ramsey play this character. She's playing this character really, really well, by the way. So you get to really see in episode 6 how far they explore. They have a little pit pat, right? But then they acting a little flirty. They play Mortal Kombat 2. That's very interesting because in the room you see in Ellie's room, soldier room, there's a poster of Mortal Kombat 2. She's a gamer, and to see that they played Mortal Kombat 2 at the mall, it was a very cute scene. They were falling in love, and then they ended up kissing, right? They're dancing, they're being themselves, and they end up kissing, and they have feelings for each other, right? I'm here for it. I'm so here for that. But then that stuff gets snatched away from the two as an infested zombie attacks them, bites them. Of course, when Riley's getting attacked by this monster, this infested monster, Ellie, I'm gonna fight for my woman, right? That's her woman. That's her girl. Like, you ain't about to do that. So she goes in, stabs him in the head, but turns out both of them ended up getting bit, right? And I really like how this is cut. I'm glad that and I don't think in the game, I think they show that each person got bit, but they didn't show how, and I don't think they did in the game, T, but they didn't show how Riley turns, right? Because Ellie doesn't turn into an infested because she's immune to it, right? Right? We all know that. So I like how they cut back, and this was kind of where they were in some sort of abandoned house, and Joel, he got stabbed in episode 6, the last episode. So now he's fighting for his life, but Ellie said, I'm not about to lose somebody else, right? She lost too much. She lost her parents. She lost Riley. She lost way too much. So she has the most love she has is for Joel in that current moment because Joel looked after her. So now she's suturing him up, and then they're holding hands and they're praying that Joel survives in this episode moving forward into the season. So I love this backstory. I enjoyed so much of this episode because you really get to see a backstory to it. It's good. It's really, really good. I'm glad we didn't see anybody, no crew member, no film crew member on this episode, right? I think it was just a mistake. It happens. I'm still wondering how they missed that because that's very obvious in my opinion. But who am I to judge, right? I'm only an independent filmmaker, right? So I can't really judge too harshly on that. But this episode is good. Episode 7 is so good, guys. Watch this series. Don't sleep on it. I know a lot of people are not. A lot of podcasters are talking about this show and they say, hey, I think I need to watch it. Yes, you need to watch the show. This show is just that good. I don't know. Some people are going to say, because I've had some reviewers say, oh, don't fall into the Last of Us series cult. It's not a cult. It's just a show being really, really good, right? Like I say, Storm Reed she plays Riley, played her really, really well. It was good. It was a very, very good episode. So this is a must see. One scene I do like though, T, and it just popped in my brain. I like it how when Riley first surprises Ellie about the mall, right? We all been to the mall at night, where if you're at the mall at night, the lights come on, it's like Christmas, right? When she turned the power on and all the store lights and the ambient lights come out, you see a shot of Ellie, like in awe, because she has never seen anything like that. And I thought that was just so cute to me. It was so cute how when she saw the escalator for the first time, she did not know what it was because she hadn't been to a mall since the breakout, right? So she's playing on the escalator, and I'm like, oh, she haven't been to a mall, right? Because in today's society, we obviously know what an escalator is, right? But when Ellie's riding through the escalator, she was like, what is this contraption that I'm on right now? She was having so much fun with it. It was so cute. Like I say, this episode is good. It's so good. Now we all know that Riley was gonna die though. She dies in the video game, right? This is based off the video game, so we all knew this was coming. But I really like how they tell the story. Storm Reed, maybe she's listening to the podcast, girl. You did your thing in this episode. Guys, watch episode 7 right now on HBO Max. Not a sponsor, but HBO Max, if you do want to sponsor me, go ahead and sponsor us. But Last of Us, the series, up to 7 episodes, is available right now on HBO Max. Don't sleep on it. It's a good one. It's a very, very good one. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back after this, some music, it's actually Don Toliver night, right? He got his new album. I listened to his new album on the way to the studio because I knew we were going to feature his music on our show. Good music, good album. Go check out his latest album. That's Don Toliver. It's Don Toliver night. When we come back, we've got so much to talk about. Don't go anywhere. It's the Beyond Swanky podcast, season 2 with your host K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. We'll be right back.
Live from our newsrooms brings back our hit news network, SNN, with many news anchors like Arthur Brooks, Addison Hayden, and Beatrix Gemma. Brings you stories about the news worldwide. Tune in on Atlanta's #1 stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations. To get the latest news today, listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more. The latest show goes after hours. The Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas brings out more for our Lucas Nation fans. Tune in for reviews, topics, and even special guests. We go beyond the swankiness as it's juicy as hell with our DJ Lou Pezzi, playing nothing but the hits on the Spotify podcast version. Live from our studio of Swanky Studios, it's the Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas on Atlanta's #1 stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio station. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the Beyond Swanky podcast with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas, season 2. That is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, T. We got T up in the building. He's our producer for both our shows. James is here. Monica, she's here. Everybody's here for the podcast. I love it. Very, very excited, right? Very, very excited for a lot of things, guys. Be on the lookout. A lot of people wanted to know our progress with the documentary Street Style Homecoming, and I am officially confirming that we might hit over the 2-hour mark. I know I posted about it as hitting 2 hours, but we might be over 2 hours. Guys, this documentary, I cannot wait for you guys to see it, because the days that we're in the studio the most, we crack down and we start editing some more from the documentary. It's a lot of great content that's in this. Like, I'm not just hyping it up because it's my documentary, it's my film, but trust me, guys, it's a lot of great content that is here. I cannot wait until we're done. It's gonna be it's gonna be a minute before we get done post-production, but it is coming, guys, because it is here. Now, I wanted to talk about this kind of interesting story that came out today, and I got to shout out Beatrice Gamma. She reported this on CNN today, and I wanted to expand further because I wanted to give my take on it. Now, it's been said that there has been an illegal crypto mining operation found hidden under a high school. Now, this is coming from Gutaku.com. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to review it. But I'm very, very interested in this. Of course, the accused is facing charges of fraudulent electricity use and vandalism. Of course, a man has been arrested and is facing charges in a small town outside of Boston. After local authorities discovered an illegal cryptocurrency mining operation tucked away under a school's floor. Of course, as the BBC reports continue, the accused, being a 39-year-old Nadem Nahaz, if I pronounce the name right, give me a thumbs up, was previously the assistant facilities director in the small time, oh gosh, Steve, these names are gonna kill me, Cohasset, which is roughly 10 miles outside of Boston. In December of 2021, a routine inspection of the school turned up some suspicious modifications. Of course, Cohasset Police Chief William Quigley told the BBC that according to, again, these names is a high school, Cohasset High School's own director of facilities, and this is a quote, guys, during a routine inspection of the school, he noticed electrical wires, temporary duct work, and numerous of computers that seemed out of place. Wow. Yes, you can get into some deep trouble if you're, first of all, I hope this is not school computers, right? Anything that you get from your professional, because we track our computers too, right? Anything that you get from your company, you have to be careful what you be on. Now, some companies don't care what you do as long as you ain't doing something super illegal, but you have to watch out, right? You have to watch out to a lot of people who are giving you work computers because they could track it, right? They could. Some people are very like, okay, track it. I got nothing to hide, right? And you're smart by doing it that way. But a lot of people, you know, you got to be careful. Now, the ducts and the wiring were all handed towards the same place near the school's boiler room, and checking under the floor there, a cryptocurrency mining operation that was illegally plugged into the school's electrical system was discovered. Ooh, you know you going to jail, right? Because a lot of places are not using crypto because they think it's a sham. Honestly, I'll say here, K.L.P Entertainment doesn't dabble in cryptocurrency. I think it's all a scam. I think it's a hoax. I think it's a way for people to waste money. I think it's a fraud thing, right? A lot of people have their different ways about crypto and Bitcoin. I just don't believe in it quite just yet, and I don't get it, right? I've said this on many podcasts too. I don't understand cryptocurrency. I don't understand Bitcoin, right? It's a lot of good ways to lose money. More on the report, you know, as you can see, and then there's a photo above, and I'm looking at the photos. I'm seeing a lot of computers, hard drives, and these hard drives look like they got some fraudulent things going on. It looks like it's a lot of wires too, guys. Based off the photo, I'm looking at it. You probably got a lot of credit card information, some people's social security numbers on these hard drives. Like, this person might have got a lot of private information that they probably shouldn't have. I think it's dumb for you to do it at a school, right? Because these things do get discovered, right? At a workplace, if you're doing this and you don't have legal permits or legal rights to be doing this stuff, and you're doing it anyway. It's interesting. So there's a picture above from Kotaku.com. You guys can check it out. Provided by local police. While this wasn't a warehouse-sized operation, 11 computers in total were discovered, including some inside coolers that vented to the outdoors. That was still a significant amount of hardware to be found hidden under a school's floor, and it was drawing more than enough power to leave a trace. Oh. Now, if you're going to do some slick shit, you better at least hide your slick shit, right? If you don't hide it well and you get discovered, trust me, you guys have to be careful what you do, right? Whether it's doing stuff on the internet or doing something illegal like this, running a whole side hustle on top of your incurring. Now, director of facilities. Now, I look, I want to go on a gamble and say that they get paid okay, right? They probably don't get, obviously you don't get paid millions for that job, but you probably do all right, right? Why would you risk that for a cryptocurrency mining operation where it could be a scam, right? It could be a scam. There's a lot of people doing a lot of scam shit right now. I watch a lot of Scammer Payback, by the way. Scammer Payback, Pierogi, shout out to him. I watch this stuff a lot religiously because you really have to watch out for these scams, guys. So who's to say that this person, this 39-year-old, is not scamming somebody out of money with this cryptocurrency mining operation, right? I really hate the word cryptocurrency mining. I get a lot of spam people from Instagram that like a post that we're doing, and we're doing something really dope and we post about it. I get a lot of people like, hey, have you heard about cryptocurrency mining? And I say, nope, I don't believe in that. It's a scam. What you want? Credit card information, social security number? Nope, I'm not giving you that. Sorry. Authorities say that the mining setup operated from April to December of 2021 and racked up electricity bills. Y'all want to know how much his electricity bill is? Bills for the school's estimate at around $17,500. So that's $17,500 in electricity bills for a school. That's a lot of money for electricity bill. Nahas, the 39-year-old who pleaded not guilty in court appearance last week, resigned from his job. Oh, you best believe you did. Resigned from his job as assistant facilities director shortly after the operation was discovered. He was arrested last year after months-long investigation that involved not just local police, but the U.S. Coast Guard. Wow. You know you in trouble if you got the local police, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Department of Homeland Security involved. Guys, let me tell y'all, this shit ain't worth it. This shit ain't worth it. I repeat, this shit ain't worth it. You've got local police, U.S. Coast Guard. Let me rephrase that, T. And let me get to the mic because let me show you how important this stuff is. That is not worth you left an assistant facilities director. That's a high role. I'll give it that. That's sort of a high role for a mining business that could be fraud. You got local police, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Department of Homeland Security is now involved. Those are the three government departments that you do not want in your face. I'm surprised FBI is not on this yet. By now they probably are. Don't do this. Don't do this, guys. All right, let me back away from the mic. Yeah, don't do this. Don't do what this man did. He's going to jail. He lost his job, and I hope he didn't have a wife and kids because you're probably going to lose those too. You got to pay for that too. $17,500. You're paying for that, right? Because you're stealing electricity and equipment from your job, doing something you shouldn't be doing, right? And you got caught. So don't do this. Don't do this, guys. This is not worth it. I read this scope and this ain't worth it. It's not worth it. I would never do this. I would definitely never do this because I don't believe in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I think it's all fraud to me. So you're not going to catch me doing this. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we take another commercial break, I got to announce, of course, the 54th NAACP Awards was this past Sunday. And of course, Angela Bassett won her NCAA award for Best Outstanding Actress in a Drama. She's been doing a lot of great things now. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. She's been in Operating 911. I think that's the other show that she's in. Very, very good. Of course, Brittany Griner and her wife, they had some great things to say. BG, I'm always grateful to have Brittany Griner home. I know a lot of people are very nervous because how the way we got her back, right, from Russia. We kind of gave up a Russian person that's very violent and know how to launch missiles. So there's been a whole scope about that. That's political. We're not going to go so far into that. But I remember hearing Brittany Griner. I remember hearing her before in interviews, but when she performed her speech at the NAACP and to really get to see her talk, I was like, oh, I don't remember her sounding like that. And I ain't judging, but I saw it on the Breakfast Club because they had a lot to say as well. And when I heard her talk for a while, because she's been out there for in Russia and doing her thing, and it's been kind of those things. Now I wanted to see if I can get a clip here for the show because I'm not picking, but her voice gets really, really deep, and it's very, very interesting to me. Let me see if we can get this clip in for sure. This was very interesting. Her. Sherry wins big at the NAACP. Sherry Shepherd wins as well. So that's always good. But to hear Brittany Griner speak, I just never thought her voice would be that deep. I really didn't. And maybe I missed out on it. Maybe I just kind of forgot. Let me see. We got this, guys. Hold on. Come on. Okay. Hey. Okay, I'm not picking, y'all. I'm so not picking. I forgot how deep her voice is, and that's been kind of the trending thing on Twitter and Instagram about how super deep her voice got. So hey, I'm glad she's home. I'm so happy she's home though. Because we were scared. I was scared, right? Because WNBA, she's good. She's very, very good. So I'm good. I think she has learned a lot. I know superstars, athletes, y'all ain't gonna be doing that no more. So if y'all go to Russia, y'all be careful, all right? Because it's tough out there. Be careful. So moving right along, of course, we do have a sort of a topic today, but we're going to take another quick commercial break. But when we come back, of course, we're going to ask the people, what makes you corny, right? No T, I didn't say horny. I said corny. The Beyond Swanky Podcast, Season 2, will be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P. Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
And welcome back to the podcast, the Beyond Swanky Podcast. It's Don Tolliver Night. He got this new album that is out right now. I love this album, by the way. This might be my new favorite album for this spring, right? Because it's really that good. I mean, you got so many good people. The one song I like the most, If I Had, with Charlie Wilson. Love that song. So our topic of conversation before we wrap today's podcast, is what makes you corny? I wanted to stem from this conversation because there was an interview that went out about Michael B. Jordan. Of course, if you guys don't know, this Friday, Creed 3 comes out. I won't be seeing the movie, not saying as a hater or anything, but I just, I'll be in the office. I won't be, and I can't really watch people getting pummeled. You guys know, we talked about Tommy Lee and Natalie Nunn's match yesterday's K.L.P. Aftermath, seeing people get pummeled. I can't get there. So Creed 3 is getting ready to come out. Comes out this Friday. A lot of people are excited. And there was an interview. I forgot the young woman's name that interviewed him, but he never forgot that she said that he was corny, right? And that's been the buzzing thing on the Breakfast Club, the Joe Budden podcast, a lot of podcasts out there. This has been the buzzing thing, and I thought it was fitting that we talk about it here on our show, the Beyond Swanky podcast. Now, what makes you corny? A lot of valid reasons. A lot of valid reasons that went out to this, and here's my spin on it. Yes, to this day I am corny, right? A lot of people have told me that I'm one corny mofo, right? I've been corny in middle school, I've been corny in high school, I've been more corny in college, and I kind of like it. I think what makes you corny makes you witty, makes you funny, right? You do some funny, and I've done some funny shit, right? I've done some very funny stuff that people laugh at. But I also done some things that I genuinely care about, and I've been called corny, right? A lot of people would say holding the door for a woman is corny. Picking up the tab for a woman is corny. Or your significant other, I should say. Right? Taking somebody on a date and just treating them on a date, oh, that's corny. Right? I know a lot of people have said what's whack and corny in the whack way. People fronting, whether it's on social media or in personal life, right? Well, you see all these celebrities, bags full of money, and some of it might be fake money, right? Because we all know about, I got to put Soulja Boy on blast, where he had like a $1 bill, and then on top of it was the $1 bills on top of like plain white paper, right? Holding it up for social media and say, hey, I got this much money. To me, yeah, that's corny. There was this trend that it was a trend where somebody spelt a word out with money, and some people rebelled, like as a spoof, like IRS, right? When you show your money like that, you best believe IRS is looking to make sure you pay them taxes, right? The hint of that: pay your taxes. Don't fuck around with these non-paid taxpayers. Don't fuck, because they ain't worth going to jail for. Pay your taxes. So to me, yeah, that was corny. I think that trend went out. It came out last year. So 2022 is when the trend came out. I think that's whack. Don't show your cash flow, your money, taking money out the bank just to flex on Instagram. That's corny. That's whack, right? And you can get in trouble because you don't know who watching, right? But it's that good kind of corny that I've been to, right? I've been corny with many, many ways. Hell, sometimes I'm corny on my shows, right? I'm the corniest man on our shows, but it sells. A lot of people love that funny side of me. I made some corny jokes. I remember, and my friends can contest to this, going to K.P, and we were going out afterwards, and I was just just being goofy just for no reason. My friend, she laughed the most, right? Because she was like, damn, Kennedy funny tonight, but he don't want to shut up, but he's so funny tonight. I like to be the corny one just to smirk or laugh. I've said some with my friends. I've said some corny stuff if that means that they're going to laugh, right? I've said some corny things that some friends are mad, have been pissed off with me about, and I rebelled, right? So when you try to be funny, you try to be corny, always try to watch what you say to make sure it's not offensive per se. But I have said some corny things, trying to get a laughter, and it worked. 9 times out of 10, it worked, right? So I don't think Michael B. Jordan. First of all, Michael B. Jordan is richest. He rich, so he could be corny all he wants, right? Because he getting that bag, right? He was in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. If y'all didn't see that yet, I mean, you were late on this game. It's on Disney Plus by now. Yes, Michael B. Jordan's in Wakanda Forever for a scene. He got Creed 3. Now, Creed 3, he's getting producer money, actor money, and director money. He's getting 3 for the price of 1. So, even though Michael B. Jordan had that on his mind, I think he doesn't really care that much. Because he's still going to be making money. He's still going to be making movies, right? I don't think he's corny. I think he's funny as hell. I think he's a visionary. I think he's extraordinary, in my opinion, right? He's played in a lot of great films. Black Panther for 1. Creed for 2. Fruitvale Station. That was one of his first movies. Fruitvale Station. Shout out to that movie because that movie was good. And he played Human Torch and Fantastic Four, but we ain't gonna talk about that because even he don't want to talk about that movie because that movie was a huge flop. So being corny, I feel, is just part of you being yourself, right? It's not corny to want to treat somebody to something. In my case, I like women. It's not corny to treat my women to something. It's not corny to hold the door for my girl. It's not corny to listen to her when she has something to say. Right? I'm not gonna be like, no, you don't have an opinion. I'm not gonna listen to you. No, if I listen to you, that's corny. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's corny. I think that's you being a real man. And as we get older, women or your significant other, they tend to fall for people who are corny and who want to listen and want to treat people right and really be a man, right? As we get older, women figure that out. Now, a lot of women that's young, 18, all the way maybe 23. Yeah, you don't know it because you're young, right? You're a fast young thing, right? You don't care about nothing. But as you get older and you realize life and your girl needs to tell you something and you listen, that's not corny. That's you being a man. That's you listening. That's you loving someone for who they are. That's my take on it, T. So like I say, Michael B. Jordan, and in the interview she rebutted. She's like, you didn't hear me say that. No, I used to. You know, said it now. But now that he big and he out and he up, he got that money, that big money energy. Oh no, yeah, I didn't say that. Yeah, okay. So it's an interesting dynamic. Comment below what makes y'all corny. I want to hear from you guys for sure in our comment box for sure. If you're watching the YouTube version, thank you. Be sure to hit that bell notification, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel here at K.L.P Entertainment. And if you're listening to the podcast tonight, or today rather, on all major audio platforms, thank you so very much. Our number's been up, guys. It's been doing really, really well. So I got to thank y'all the most when it comes down to it, because you guys have helped us blossom and grow to our podcast and our radio stations as they are today. So I'm very, very, very thankful for you guys for that. That's going to wrap it up here on the Beyond Swanky podcast. I've been your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas, for season 2. Please stay tuned for this week as we come back to give you all more podcasting for the week. Until then, as always, I like to say, stay safe, stay swanky, peace.
The latest show goes after hours. The Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas brings out more for our Lucas Nation fans. Tune in for reviews, topics, and even special guests. We go beyond the swankiness as it's juicy as hell with our DJ Lou Pezzi, playing nothing but the hits on the Spotify podcast version. Live from our studio of Swanky Studios, it's the Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas on Atlanta's #1 stations, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat's 94.6 radio station. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.